What if I told you that there is an ancient book, older than many parts of the Bible, that was so controversial, so mysterious, that it was hidden away for centuries, not by accident, but on purpose? This book contains stories of angels who fell from the heavens, of forbidden knowledge given to mankind, and of cosmic secrets that challenge everything we thought we knew about creation and the universe. This book is known as the Book of Enoch, and unlike the sacred texts that were chosen to be included in religious canons, this one was cast aside, rejected, and even labeled dangerous. Many believe it was never meant to be read by humans at all. Some say it contains truths too powerful for ordinary people. Others believe it was removed to keep us in the dark about ancient knowledge and divine secrets. But what is it exactly that makes this book so threatening? What could be so profound that religious leaders, scholars, and institutions felt the need to hide it for centuries? Today, we are going to explore the chilling answers to those questions. We'll look at who Enoch was, why the stories of fallen angels were considered so forbidden, and most importantly, why this book might have never been written for the eyes of humans in the first place. So get ready to go on a journey beyond the surface of history, deep into a lost world of heavenly beings, apocalyptic visions, and forbidden wisdom, because once you hear the story behind the Book of Enoch, you might start to wonder, what else has been hidden from us all along? The Book of Enoch is one of the most mysterious and controversial ancient texts ever discovered. It is believed to have been written between 300 and 100 years before the birth of Christ, long before many parts of the Bible were finalized. This book is attributed to Enoch, the great-grandfather of Noah, a man who is said to have walked with God and was taken to heaven without experiencing death. His story appears briefly in the book of Genesis. But the Book of Enoch expands on his life in ways that are truly astonishing. This book is not just one single story. It is actually a collection of writings divided into several sections, each one offering its own strange and powerful visions. The first part is called the Book of the Watchers, and it tells the tale of fallen angels who descended to earth and defied divine law. The second part is the Book of Parables, which contains prophetic visions about the coming of the Messiah and the final judgment. The third section, known as the Astronomical Book, is filled with detailed descriptions of the stars, the movement of the sun and moon, and the structure of the heavens. Then comes the Book of Dream Visions, which recounts symbolic dreams about the history of the world from creation to the end times. Finally, the Epistle of Enoch offers moral lessons and warnings to future generations. What makes this book truly unique is the depth and detail of its content. It talks about things we rarely see in other ancient religious texts, like angelic hierarchies, cosmic secrets, and the fate of souls in the afterlife. In fact, the Book of Enoch describes multiple layers of heaven. It presents a universe that is complex, structured, and governed by forces beyond human understanding. But despite its rich content, the Book of Enoch was excluded from both the Jewish and Christian Bibles, and for a long time, it was considered lost. The reasons for its rejection are still debated by scholars, but many agree that it simply contained too many ideas that didn't fit with the official doctrines being established at the time. It raised questions about divine justice, free will, the nature of angels, and even the origins of evil, questions that made religious leaders uncomfortable. Interestingly, while it was rejected in the West, the Book of Enoch was preserved in Ethiopia, where it became part of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church's canon. It survived for centuries in the ancient Ge'ez language and was rediscovered by the Western world in the 18th century. Since then, it has sparked intense fascination among theologians, historians, and spiritual seekers alike. The Book of Enoch stands as a strange and powerful witness to a time when the boundaries between heaven and earth, gods and humans, were far less defined than they are today. It invites us to see the universe through the eyes of a man who walked with angels, who saw the end of days, and who may have held secrets that were never meant to be shared with mankind. One of the most powerful and disturbing parts of the Book of Enoch is the story of the Watchers. This section is known as the Book of the Watchers, and it reads more like a cosmic rebellion than a traditional religious text. It tells the story of a group of angels who are sent by God to watch over humanity, but instead of remaining obedient to their divine mission, they broke the most sacred law of heaven. They came down to earth and interfered directly with human life. These angels, called the Watchers, saw that the daughters of men were beautiful, and they desired them. They took human women as wives and had children with them. These children were not ordinary humans. They were giants, known as the Nephilim, creatures of immense size and strength who brought chaos, violence, and destruction to the world. The Nephilim devoured the labor of humans, consumed everything in sight, and even turned against mankind itself. But the actions of the Watchers went beyond forbidden unions. They also shared divine and hidden knowledge with humanity, knowledge that was never meant to be revealed to mortals. They taught humans how to make weapons, how to perform sorcery, how to read the stars, and how to manipulate nature through enchantments and magical arts. This was knowledge that belonged to the heavens, knowledge that was dangerous in the wrong hands. The leader of the Watchers was a powerful angel named Semyaza, and under his leadership, 200 angels descended to Mount Hermon, where they swore an oath to carry out this rebellion together. They knew what they were doing was wrong, but they chose to defy God and act anyway. This moment marked one of the most catastrophic events in ancient spiritual history, according to the Book of Enoch. It was the Watchers' disobedience that unleashed evil into the world on a scale never seen before. God responded with fierce judgment. He sent the archangels Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Uriel to take action. The Watchers were captured, bound, and cast into the depths of the earth, locked away in a prison of darkness until the day of judgment. Their hybrid children, the Nephilim, were destroyed in the great flood that came during the time of Noah, a flood that, according to the Book of Enoch, was not just meant to cleanse the earth of human sin, but to wipe out the corruption brought by the fallen angels and their monstrous offspring. This chapter raises deep and troubling questions. Why would angels rebel against heaven? Why would they choose to empower humans with dangerous knowledge? And why was their story removed from the official scriptures? Some believe that the Watchers represent the ultimate warning about power, temptatio, and the consequences of crossing divine boundaries. Others think their story was simply too controversial, too frightening, and too challenging for organized religion to accept. The story of the Watchers feels like a forbidden memory, buried deep in the ancient past, a tale of beings from another realm who changed the destiny of the world forever. It offers a glimpse into a time when the heavens were not silent, when celestial beings walked among us, and when the knowledge of gods was placed in the hands of mankind with devastating consequences. The question that haunts many who study the Book of Enoch is this: if this book holds such powerful and fascinating stories, why was it hidden from humanity for so long? Why was it excluded from both Jewish and Christian Bibles? And why did only one branch of Christianity in Ethiopia preserve it, while the rest of the world forgot it for nearly 2,000 years? Some scholars believe the answer lies in the book's content. The Book of Enoch contains ideas that are radically different from the official narratives found in the Bible. It speaks openly about angels falling from heaven, marrying humans, and teaching forbidden knowledge. It paints a picture of the heavens that is structured, layered, and filled with powerful beings who are not always obedient to God. It describes in vivid detail the punishment of angels, the corruption of the earth, and the cosmic battle between good and evil on a scale that few other texts ever dared to mention. The early religious leaders who were responsible for selecting which books would be part of the Bible faced a difficult task. They had to choose texts that aligned with the core teachings and beliefs of the emerging religious institutions. The Book of Enoch simply did not fit. It raised too many questions about divine justice, the origins of evil, and the role of supernatural beings in human affairs. It portrayed angels as flawed, emotional, and even rebellious, something that could challenge the authority and simplicity of the doctrines being built. It is also important to remember that knowledge has always been power, and the Book of Enoch is filled with knowledge that might have been seen as too dangerous for the common people. It teaches about astronomy, magic, spiritual warfare, and the secrets of heaven. It warns of a final judgment and the fate of souls, and it even speaks of a chosen one who will bring righteousness to the earth long before the birth of Christ. Some believe these revelations could have disrupted the early church's control over theological narratives, and so the book was quietly removed from the conversation. Over time, the Book of Enoch faded into obscurity. It was lost to most of the world and survived only in remote monasteries in Ethiopia, where it remained untouched for centuries. When it was finally rediscovered and translated in the 18th and 19th centuries, it shocked Western scholars who had never seen anything like it. The stories were older than many parts of the Bible, yet felt strangely modern in their cosmic scale and complexity. Some researchers and spiritual thinkers believe the book was hidden not just because of politics or theology, but because it was never truly meant for ordinary humans to read. They say the knowledge inside was divine, intended only for the enlightened, for those who could understand its deeper meanings without falling into fear or madness. Others believe that it was hidden by divine design, as part of a larger spiritual test for humanity. Whatever the reason, the result is the same. A book filled with powerful stories and cosmic warnings was kept from generations of people who might have found truth, insight, or even salvation in its pages. Today, as more people begin to rediscover and explore the Book of Enoch, we are left with a haunting question. If this was kept from us, what else might still be hidden, waiting in the shadows, waiting to be revealed? Enoch's journey through the heavens is one of the most breathtaking and mysterious parts of the entire book. Unlike any other prophet or figure in ancient texts, Enoch is taken by angels and brought through the different levels of the heavens while still alive. His experience is not a dream or a vision, but a physical and spiritual journey into realms that no ordinary human was ever meant to see. According to the Book of Enoch, he is shown the secrets of the universe, the movements of the stars, the paths of the sun and moon, and the great storehouses of wind, rain, and snow. He sees how time itself is measured by celestial patterns and how everything in the cosmos moves according to divine order. Enoch is not just observing the beauty of the universe. He is being taught its mechanics, its laws, and its sacred meaning. As he ascends through the different layers of heaven, he encounters angelic beings of great power and glory. Each level is more overwhelming than the last, filled with light, sound, and unimaginable energy. He sees the place where souls are judged, where the righteous are rewarded, and where the wicked are held in darkness awaiting punishment. He even witnesses the throne of the Most High, surrounded by fiery seraphim, with rivers of light flowing from it like living waters. One of the most striking moments is when Enoch stands before the face of God and is not destroyed. This alone makes him unique among humans, for it was believed that no mortal could look upon God and live. But Enoch is different. He is called the scribe of righteousness, the one chosen to receive knowledge meant only for the divine. He is told to write down everything he sees, so that future generations might understand the truth about creation, judgment, and the eternal destiny of souls. In this journey, Enoch learns that nothing in the universe happens by chance. Every movement of the stars, every breath of wind, and every moment in time is part of a divine plan. He sees the great book of life, where all deeds are recorded, and the fate of every soul is written. He learns that justice may not always be seen in the present moment, but in the end, every soul will be held accountable. The heavens are not just a place of beauty and order. They are also a place of purpose, of messages waiting to be delivered, and Enoch becomes the messenger, returning to earth with knowledge that is too vast, too powerful, and perhaps too dangerous for most to fully understand. His journey reminds us that there is far more to existence than what we see with our eyes. that behind the veil of the physical world lies a reality that is grand, sacred, and infinitely complex. The Book of Enoch is more than just a story of angels and visions. At its core, it is a repository of ancient secrets and forbidden knowledge, the kind of wisdom that challenges what we think we know about history, about spirituality, and about humanity's place in the universe. It speaks of mysteries that were once shared between divine beings and humans, before being sealed away for fear of their power. One of the most controversial elements in the Book of Enoch is the knowledge given to mankind by the Watchers. These fallen angels did not just rebel against heaven by taking human wives. They also revealed secrets that were never meant for humans. They taught astrology, the movement of the stars and planets. They taught the forging of metals, the crafting of weapons, the use of plants for sorcery, and even the art of enchantment and beauty. Suddenly, humans had tools and knowledge far beyond their natural limits. This was not viewed as a gift, but as a curse, because with this knowledge came violence, corruption, and chaos. Humanity began to spiral into destruction, and the earth itself cried out. The heavens saw what had been unleashed and condemned the Watchers, imprisoning them in the depths of the earth until the day of judgment. The knowledge they had given was considered forbidden because it awakened something in humans that was both divine and dangerous, a sense of power, autonomy, and ambition that could rival the heavens. Some believe this forbidden knowledge was the spark that ignited the rise of ancient civilizations, that it explains how early humans built massive structures, tracked the stars with precision, and developed advanced technologies that modern science still cannot fully explain. Others believe this knowledge remains hidden in symbols, in myths, in lost texts, waiting to be rediscovered by those who are ready. The Book of Enoch does not shy away from the idea that knowledge is a double-edged sword. It can illuminate or it can destroy. It can awaken the divine spark or unleash pride and destruction. Enoch himself was entrusted with this wisdom, not to use it selfishly, but to record it, to pass it on with cautio, to warn of its potential dangers. In the end, what makes the Book of Enoch so powerful is not just the stories it tells, but the secrets it holds, the truths it whispers between the lines, truths that some say were never meant to be read by human eyes. And yet here we are, still reading, still searching, still asking what else might be hidden just beyond our reach. For nearly 2,000 years, the Book of Enoch remained lost to the world, hidden in the highlands of Ethiopia, preserved only by the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. While the rest of the world forgot its existence entirely, no one knew what secrets it held or why it had been kept out of the Bible, and for centuries it remained a mystery buried in time and silence. It wasn't until the late 18th century that the world outside Ethiopia caught a glimpse of this ancient text once again, when a Scottish explorer named James Bruce traveled to Ethiopia. He returned with 3 copies of the Book of Enoch, written in Ge'ez, the ancient liturgical language of Ethiopia. When scholars first read the book, they were stunned. It was unlike anything they had ever seen, filled with vivid visions, cosmic journeys, and teachings that echoed yet expanded far beyond the pages of the Bible. Since then, the Book of Enoch has sparked intense controversy among theologians, historians, and spiritual seekers. Some view it as a lost treasure, a missing piece of the puzzle that can explain much of the Bible's mysteries, especially the cryptic verses in Genesis about the sons of God and the Nephilim. Others, however, warn that it is a dangerous text filled with ideas that contradict established doctrine and should not be taken as divine truth. The book's reappearance has also reignited debates about who gets to decide what is sacred and what is heresy. It challenges the authority of those who compiled the biblical canon and raises questions about what other ancient texts may have been hidden or forgotten over time. For many, the Book of Enoch represents a voice from the past, one that refuses to be silenced, even if it speaks of things most would rather not hear. Its rediscovery has inspired researchers, artists, and truth seekers all over the world to look deeper into humanity's forgotten spiritual history. And though controversy still surrounds it, the Book of Enoch continues to find new life in the modern age, reminding us that some truths, no matter how deeply buried, will always find their way back into the light. The Book of Enoch is not just an ancient manuscript, it is a mirror held up to the deepest parts of our curiosity and our fears. It challenges the stories we've been told and invites us to ask questions that most people are too afraid to face. What if there are truths that have been hidden from us, not out of malice, but out of protection? What if humanity was never meant to carry the weight of divine knowledge because we were not ready? Yet here we are in a time when hidden texts resurface, when lost wisdom is being rediscovered and re-examined, when people all over the world are hungry for meaning beyond the surface of ordinary life. The Book of Enoch does not offer simple answers, it offers a path into mystery, into the unknown, into a world where angels fall, stars speak, and men walk among the heavens. Whether you see it as history, myth, or warning, the Book of Enoch remains a powerful reminder that knowledge has always come with a cost, that truth often walks hand in hand with danger, and that sometimes the most important lessons are the ones buried deepest beneath the surface. And maybe that's why it was never meant for us, at least not until now, when the world is finally ready to listen, when the veil begins to lift and the old voices begin to speak. A guy